My daughter-in-law broke into my apartment 34 times. I buried her with paperwork as a retired forensic auditor. Never thought my golden years would turn into a battlefield. But life has a funny way of surprising you. At 72, I was supposed to be enjoying retirement. Quiet mornings with my coffee, reading the newspaper, maybe tending to my small balcony garden of herbs and flowers. Instead, I found myself locked in a silent war with my own family, specifically my daughter-in-law, Priya. She was the kind of woman who smiled to your face while plotting behind your back. Sharp, ambitious, and utterly convinced that the world owed her everything. My son, Raj, was blind to it all, wrapped around her finger like a puppet on strings. It started innocently enough, or so it seemed. About 3 months ago, I began noticing little things out of place in my modest 2-bedroom apartment. In the suburbs of Mumbai, a drawer slightly ajar in my study, papers shuffled in my filing cabinet, even the faint scent of a perfume lingering in the air, a mix of jasmine and something synthetic that always made my nose twitch. At first, I dismissed it as my aging mind playing tricks. After all, I'm not as sharp as I used to be, or so people like to remind me. But deep down, I knew better. I'd spent 35 years as a senior forensic auditor for the government, unraveling financial webs that could topple empires. Paranoia? No. Vigilance? Absolutely. The first confirmed incident was on a Tuesday evening. I'd come home from my weekly chess club meeting to find the front door unlocked, not forced, but carefully picked or perhaps opened with a duplicate key. Nothing was missing, but my bank statements were no longer in alphabetical order. I confronted Raj over dinner that weekend. "Son, has Priya been stopping by without telling me?" He laughed it off. "Dad, she's just worried about you living alone. Mom's been gone 5 years now. She wants to check in." Check in? That was her excuse every time. But checking in doesn't involve rifling through my safe or peeking at my investment portfolios. Over the next 3 months, it happened 34 times. Yes, I counted. I installed a discrete logbook app on my phone, time-stamping each anomaly. Sometimes it was during the day while I was out for groceries. Other times, in the dead of night. She'd use the building's maintenance guy as cover. Oh, Papa G sent me to fix the leaky faucet, or slip in when the neighbors weren't looking. I even caught glimpses on the security camera feed from the hallway. Thank God for those cheap Wi-Fi cams I bought online. 34 intrusions. Each one a violation, a felony in my eyes. Breaking and entering, even if it's family. When I finally mustered the courage to confront her directly, it was over a family lunch at their house. Priya was serving her famous butter chicken, all smiles and false warmth. "Priya," I said calmly, "I know you've been entering my apartment without permission. 34 times in 3 months. That's not checking in. That's trespassing." She froze for a split second, then burst into laughter. That high-pitched, mocking cackle that echoed through the room. "Oh, Papa G, you're losing it. Would hape mean yes sab sock'em lag gay ho? Paranoia. That's what it is. Raj, your dad thinks I'm some thief." Raj sided with her. "Of course. Dad, come on. She's just looking out for you." Maybe you should see a doctor about memory issues. That stung. They thought I was a senile old fool, guarding a meager pension check and a few fixed deposits. Little did they know, I wasn't just any retiree. My career had been spent dissecting frauds, money laundering schemes, embezzlement rings, tax evasions that sent CEOs to prison. I'd audited multinational corporations, exposed hidden assets in offshore accounts, and built airtight cases with nothing but paper trails. People underestimated me at their peril. That confrontation, it wasn't the end. It was the declaration of war. That night, as I lay in bed staring at the ceiling fan whirring lazily above, I made my decision. No more playing defense. It was time to set the trap. At 2:30 a.m., my phone buzzed, the silent alarm I'd rigged up. A motion sensor hidden behind my bookshelf in the study, linked to a hidden camera. I grabbed my tablet and watched the live feed. There she was, Priya, in dark clothes, flashlight in hand, creeping into the room. She went straight for the safe, the one where I kept my important documents. She tried the combination wrong, of course. I'd changed it weeks ago. Frustrated, she rummaged through drawers, snapping photos with her phone. I didn't call the police right then. No, that would be too easy, too merciful. Instead, I let her leave empty-handed, thinking she'd gotten away with it again. The next morning, I began compiling my dossier. First, the evidence of the break-ins, 30 for time-stamped logs from my app, complete with video clips from the hallway cam, and now the study sensor. I dusted the safe for fingerprints, old habits from my forensic days, and matched them to a glass she'd used at dinner. Irrefutable. But that was just the appetizer. Digging deeper, I accessed my old professional networks discreetly, of course. I knew Raj and Priya had a joint account, and something smelled off. Using public records and a few anonymous tips from former colleagues, I uncovered their side business, an unregistered online store selling imported cosmetics. Undeclared income, fake invoices, tax evasion galore. Messages on her phone which I glimpsed during a family visit, and later confirmed through a digital trail revealed their plan. Once we get Papa G's papers, we can claim his property early. Say he's incompetent. The trap closed tighter. I filed a non-cognizable complaint with the local police for repeated trespassing, attaching the video evidence. No arrests yet, but it put them on notice. Priya was summoned twice for questioning. Her name now linked to a potential fraud investigation. Then, the big gun, an anonymous tip to the income tax department. I sent a detailed report, forensic style, transaction logs, discrepancies in their filings, even estimates of undeclared earnings around 18 lakhs in cash hidden in their home. Based on patterns I'd spotted, the raid came a week later. Tax officials swarmed their upscale flat, seizing documents, laptops, and that stash of cash. Heavy penalties followed. Back taxes, fines that wiped out their savings. Roger's job, a mid-level manager at a tech firm, came under scrutiny. Whispers of financial impropriety don't sit well in corporate circles. He called me in tears. "Dad, how could you? We're family," I replied calmly. "Family doesn't break into each other's homes 30 for times, son. This is justice. not revenge. In family court, I escalated a case for mental harassment and financial abuse against both. The judge, reviewing the evidence, granted a restraining order. Priya couldn't come within 100 meters of my apartment. Their marriage strained to breaking point. Raj begged for forgiveness, but trust, once shattered, is hard to rebuild. I didn't lift a finger in violence. No shouting matches, no physical confrontations. I buried them with paperwork, the very tool I'd wielded my entire career. Because real power isn't in guns or fists. It's in the trails we leave behind, the records that speak louder than words. If you've ever been underestimated by family, if you've felt that sting of betrayal from those closest to you, know this: sometimes standing up means standing smart. Like if this resonates, comment paper is mightier below, and subscribe for more stories of triumph over treachery.